Y'all hear that alarm? You know what time it is. It's the network. We're going to get right into it today. Today's lab is GLBP. Configuring GLBP Gateway Load Balancing Protocol. It is a FHRP, which is, do you guys remember what that is from yesterday? It is an FHRP, and so this is very similar to the lab we did yesterday. Matter of fact, this is the same exact topology. I didn't even have to change the cabling up over here. And yes, I'm going to be using my hardware again today. As a matter of fact, I think we're going to use the same exact topology tomorrow for VRRP, which is also an FHRP. A lot of damn acronyms in IT field, isn't it? But for those of you that are following along for the first time, let me make sure y'all can hear me and stuff, right? Where we at here? Let me see if I can pull up the. I do not see y'all. There y'all go. There y'all go. There y'all go. We got S-Move in the building, representing BK in the house. We got Dave W. What's going on, guys? Fat Finger Squad representing. Let me give you guys a white paper that I was looking over. This gives us a little bit more information, because remember, this book is not a theory book. Y'all know about this book that we've been using. This is a lab book, right? So they just give you the topologies, IP addressing and stuff for you to work with. They don't give you that much theory. They just said, today we're going to be covering GLBP. And it's good for you to know as a Cisco engineer. That's about it. And then it gives you a little blurb about what it is, but they don't give you that much. You kind of like supposed to read the theory elsewhere. Well, you do have the official cert guide, but remember, I said don't rely on just that book. There are other resources you want to use, and I found this great resource. It is where did I get this from? Now I gotta look for it again because I downloaded it. I should have saved that URL. Let me see if it's in my history. Hold on. Y'all give me a second here. It might be in my history. There we go. GLBP. And that was the options, and the one we was looking for was this one. Visited this page. There you go. I'm gonna share this link with you guys. Boom. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, Vlad. Copy link address. I'll send this to you guys right now. This was HSRP, so we don't need that. I was doing a little deep dive there as well. Good evening. Good evening. Did I not copy it? Guess not. Let me do that again. GL PDF, and it's this one right here. Copy link address. Send this to you guys. It don't look like it's copied. There we go. All right, so that's a PDF that you guys can download from Cisco's website. I know y'all can easily Google that, but you know, this is a good one that I found. So there's tons of them that are out there, but this one I thought was pretty thorough. So I'll be referencing this a lot here. We're gonna give it a couple minutes for a couple stragglers to walk in the class late. That way I can point them out and have them explain to me what GLBP is. So yeah, if you guys don't know, this is the lab guide we use. We get a copy of this. You can get a copy of this from 101labs.net, or there's a link in the description box. There should be a link in the description box below, and it is an Amazon affiliate link, so I do get commission if you click it. It is authored by Paul Browning and Farai Tafa. I've been saying this like it's. I know I've been sounding like a broken record, right? But experts agree that we retain only 10% of what we read, but 90% of what we do, and that's why I love this book, because it gives us stuff to practice with, right? There was something that I learned today. I didn't know you could just ping your default gateway if you don't know the address, and it'll tell you what it is. Did you guys know that? And this is just from me labbing. Like, so I swear to God, y'all learn things like every day if you were labbing every day. And while I was doing this, I was like, you know, remember we were talking about the virtual IP address, right? This guy right here. Let me see. I'm gonna paint, right? Let me make sure I get the little brush here so we can. And I appreciate that you guys like the annotations that I've been doing here. Let's pick a color. Let's go with orange today. But I want a thick one. Come on, man. I need to save these defaults here. So yeah, we got router 3 right here, and he's going to be using that as his virtual IP address, right? Well, let's say it was not set up yet, and you need to know what the IP address. I didn't know you could just ping the default gateway, which was what, a static route, which is quad 0, right? I didn't know you could do that. I'll show y'all in a second though. But that came pretty handy for me. So I know maybe some of y'all know it, but I definitely didn't, and I'll admit that. So guess we can get started. Let me see here. You guys are not joined in the Discord server. I typically let everybody know when I'm streaming, but I didn't do that today. I was kind of iffy about streaming because I got family coming into town. We got Miss NetworkBruh. I want to go do something. Here's the Discord server if you guys are not joined. So I do any kind of updates. So if I would have canceled tonight, I would have put it in the Discord server and let you guys know. So make sure you're joined in the Discord server. That way, y'all not just tuning in, waiting for the NetworkBruh to start streaming with no hold music or anything like that. Like I thought he streams Monday through Friday or Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you don't know, now you know. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and get started a little early today. Let's go ahead and get to lab in here, right? So hopefully you guys, I don't know if you guys are going to be using Packet Tracer, but Packet Tracer does not work with this lab. So Packet Tracer does not support GLBP. If you remember anything about, well, if you know anything about GLBP, it is a FHRP, right? Which is what I said in the beginning of this video. That stands for First Hop Routing Protocol, which means it is a type of routing protocol that, I'm sorry, not First Hop Routing Protocol, First Hop Redundancy Protocol. So it's a way to create a first hop, but add redundancy to it, right? So our first hop is what? Our default gateway. So in this case, like let's say this guy is not in the picture, right? And router 1 is our default gateway, right? Well, if we need to get out, that is our default gateway. But if this one is down, then we don't have a default gateway. We don't have no way to get to the internet, right? Well, first hop redundancy adds another router. So in case this one goes down, we can send our traffic, shift our traffic that way, right? So that is the point of a first hop routing protocol. And like I said in the, do I have that guide up as well? I do. I guess I came prepared today. Y'all gonna learn today. First hop, it is in the CCNA exam, right? So bullet point number 3.5, describe the purpose of first hop redundancy protocol. Well, I just explained it to y'all, right? It creates redundancy for our first hop. So basically a backup route for our default gateway, right? And we could actually add 3 or 4 routers in a specific GLBP group, right? And then in case the first one go down, then maybe we'll have our second one. Well, what if for some reason the second one also goes down? Well, we have a third route in the GLBP group. The thing is, the difference between GLBP is, one, it is not Cisco proprietary. Although it is supported by Cisco, it's an open standard. You can use it on any other routers like Arista or Juniper or whatever, right? Yesterday we covered HSRP, which is a Cisco proprietary first hop routing protocol. The other thing is GLBP, the L and the B stands for load balancing. So we could balance our traffic, right? So even though this guy is our virtual IP. Remember we said this is a virtual IP that this guy's going to be sharing and that guy's going to be sharing, right? They're going to be sharing this IP address. And router 3, he don't know that there's 2 routers there. He just has the illusion of 1 router here, and he knows that his default gateway is 192.168.10.254, right? Well, physically our traffic is actually going to be going to the primary router. It could be router 1, it could be router 2, but let's just say router 1 is our primary router, right? All of our traffic is going that way, right? Well, that's what happens with, say, HSRP. If you don't, I don't think you set up load balancing, but gateway load balancing gateway load balancing protocol allows us to, you guessed it, balance our traffic. So we can send some of our traffic this way and send some of our traffic that way. Send some of our traffic this way, send some of our traffic that way. We can choose the percentage of how we can do 50 that way, we can do 50% that way, we can do 70% that way, 30% that way. We can do a round robin. There's so many different ways, but I don't think this book or this lab goes that deep into the load balancing algorithms. So we are just going to set it up. It's going to be really similar to what we did yesterday with a hot standby routing protocol. The other thing about this is, what else can you set up with it? Yeah, so even though we could load balance our traffic that way, like you said, if router 1 goes down, then obviously 100% of our traffic is going to be going towards router 2, right? And that's the point of first hop redundancy protocols. That is the purpose of it, right? It just so happened that GLBP is one of them. There's 3 of them that you need to know. HSRP, GLBP, which is what we're going to cover today, Gateway Load Balancing Protocol, and there's also VRRP, which I believe is Virtual Router Redundancy Protocol. That is another, I believe, open standard as well. So let's get to configuring. I think we got enough people in here, so let's go ahead and hopefully you guys do labeling and cabling already. Obviously, I've done my labeling and I've done my cabling because this is pretty much the same topology as we had yesterday. So I'm going to start doing the IP addressing this guy, that guy, and this guy, right? Well, let's go ahead and see what the objective was. Obviously, it's to implement GLBP in the core level of our network. GLBP is a Cisco proprietary protocol. That's interesting. That is interesting. Now, this book says it is a Cisco proprietary protocol. Then it says in the next sentence, this is a very special protocol because unlike the others, GLBP allows the load balancing of traffic among the master and standby routers. Okay. Right? But then it says GLBP is considered a high-end feature, and that means most Cisco switches and routers don't support GLBP. That sounds pretty contradictory right there. Let's go ahead and do some fact checking here because the book says it's Cisco proprietary, then it says most of them don't support it. Well, I know for a fact that these routers that I have in my router, in my lab here, they do support it, right? I can just do a show, not so standby, but a show GLBP. It actually, it's not set up yet, so that's why it's not going to show anything. But if we do show, let's say G, right? L, and we'll see GL, I said question mark, GLB. I'll do it that way and see what shows up. It don't even explain it to you. But anyways, these are the functions that you have for GLBP. No, they're not. Yes, they are. So groups in an active state, brief output, etc., 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 right? So we know it is supported by it. That's what I want to know. If anybody want to help me fact check that, because now this book says it is supported. It is Cisco proprietary, but it's not supported by most of them. Well, which one is it? I guess it's just not supported. But let's see what that white paper says. I got it pulled up here. GLBP. Well, they do have a white paper for it. So, and Cisco wouldn't write up something like this if they didn't support it or anything. Let's see here. Right here. Provides an automatic router backup, IP hosts configured with a single default gateway, which is what we're going to do here, right? LAN to combine, offer single virtual pole hop. Here we go, right here. Performs similar function, but not identical function for the user as the HSRP and VRRP. That's it. That's all they really tell us. They don't really tell us whether if there's an RFC or anything about it. But if anybody want to clarify, I guess technically it is a Cisco proprietary. It's just not supported on some of them. Cause see, look, it was introduced in iOS, so it is Cisco proprietary. Then it says this high-end feature and that means most Cisco switches and routers do not support it. Oh well, I'm kind of confused about that. I'll have to probably do a little bit of that research afterwards. Okay, so let's do this. Let's go ahead and get to configuring here, right? I'm talking too much here. Task 1 was to configure the host names of router 1, router 2, router 3, which I've already done. Hopefully you guys done that already too. Router 3, I went ahead and reloaded these routers because I already did a little trial run. So we'll go to router task 2. Let's configure the IP addressing. So we're going to configure these 3 IP addresses, right? We'll go to router 1. Interface GI00. His IP address is 192.168.10.1. Subnet mask of /24. No shut that bad boy. We'll do the same thing on router 2. He is 10.2, right? So global config mode. Interface GI00. Oh, he's going to be FA00 on mine. Your interfaces might be different. And I'm pretty sure none of you guys are using Packet Tracer because Packet Tracer does not support GLBP. So 192.168.10.2. Subnet mask of /24. Right? You got with me so far? No shit. No shut is what I meant to put there. Let's verify our work so far, right? I did a no shut on this guy. Show IP interface brief. Router 1 is up with a 10.1. Router 2 is show IP. Come on, man. Interface brief. Let's go ahead and wrap this up real quick today, man, because I got stuff to do today, y'all. I know I did a little bit of explaining. 10.2 is up. We'll go to router 3. We'll go to global config mode. Interface GI00 is not GI. Mine is FA00. Y'all with me so far? IP address. Anybody got any questions or has anybody pointed out whether GLBP is supported? Well, it is supported. We know that it's supported by Cisco, but what were they trying to say in the book? I guess they just meant to say that it is Cisco proprietary, but it is not. It's not supported on all routers. So I don't know. Whatever. 10.3 is router 3. .0. I put 20. Bad math. Fat Finger Squad in the building. Y'all know that's why we call ourselves the Fat Finger Squad, because I'm always fat fingering things. Not always. I've been pretty good lately. I haven't had to the first couple when I first started doing these live streams, I've been you know, getting stuck because see, we got to no shut that bad boy, right? So go back to I've been getting stuck because FA00. I have not been doing show commands, and I'm not verifying my work. See, right there, I would have been like, why is this not pinging? Why is this not pinging? Well, duh, it's admin down. So always good to show your work in the midst of what you're doing, right? So we did the IP addressing. Task number 3 says there's also a note on task 2. Let me go back to that. 192.168.10.254 will be the GLBP virtual address shared between router 1 and router 2. And that's what we said here, right? As noted right here. So this virtual IP address, similar to HSRP, is going to be shared by router 1 and router 2, right? Even though they've got these physical IP addresses on their these IP addresses on their physical interfaces, this is the virtual IP address that they are going to share. They also share a virtual MAC address, right? Which is, I believe, different under GLBP. We'll run a show command to verify what that is. Let's see what that is. Let me check the book real quick. Virtual MAC. Let's just do that. There it is. Virtual MAC address assignment. We can allow, here's another fun fact. GLBP group allows up to 4 virtual MAC addresses per group. So they're going to be sharing they can share up to 4 virtual MAC addresses. So they are going to be sharing a virtual MAC address. But the other question I had for y'all was, what is it? Isn't there a specific one? Because we know that HSRP shares one that ends in AC01, right? Do they have a specific MAC address at that they use? I don't think so. I don't know. Anybody want to fact check that? But we'll check that in a little bit. So we did so that's the concept I was explaining here, right? So they share a virtual IP address, just like HSRP. The only difference is, like we said, we have the ability to load balance our traffic. So again, we can send, you know, I don't know, 70% of our traffic that way, and then 30% of our traffic that way. Who knows? Maybe one is a slower link, maybe one is a faster link. Which, in case in point, my physical IP, my actual routers, I have router 1. He is using a gigabit 00 interface. So this is a gigabit 00 interface. It's a gigabit, right? And then router 2 is actually using a fast Ethernet. So this actually is a faster route for me to take. So maybe I should send most of my traffic that way and make a 70-30 split. That's a perfect example of that, right? And that's what load balancing allows us to do. So what we wanted to do here, we did the IP addressing. I explained to you guys the virtual MAC address. Virtual MAC address and the virtual IP address. Task 3, we only got 5 tasks. And the 5th one is to just run a couple show commands, and we're going to wrap this up. Task 3 says to configure GLBP, what we came to do, on routers 1 and router 2, as follows. Create a group number 100. Remember, when we put them in when we put these routers in a group, is it possible to have PoE via patch panel, or do we need to run directly from a PoE switch? Well, PoE is not a necessary function. I happen to have this switch right here. Good question, though. This switch that I have is a 3750 switch. See, look, we're not even going to do any configuring on it. It is running, right? And I do have my routers connected to them, obviously, right? They're connected to them. Router 1 is connected there. Router 3 is connected there. But we're not going to be doing any kind of configuring there. He's just going to act like a hub. That's all he's going to do. He's going to send the traffic to routers 1 and router 2 and router 3. We're not doing any kind of configuring. We left in this default. Look, I'll even show you show VLAN brief. He's even got just VLANs, right? Oh, don't even worry about these VLANs right here, but these ports are all in VLAN 1 by default. So, and they're connected to 1, 2, and 3. So whether it's PoE or not, it don't even matter because it's not like these guys are worried about PoE, the routers. These guys are not worried about PoE or not. So I'm not sure if that answers your question or not, but you do want to put that switch in the middle. I remember trying this without putting the switch, and I had a physical interface, a physical cable going. This is when I was doing a run. Actually, I didn't do this with GLBP, but I did with the HSRP lab yesterday. I just tried to run my own lab, right? I put a cable going this way, and I put a cable going this way. But the thing is, this had one network, and this had a separate network. So these two routers couldn't really ping each other. And I just was like, why is this not working? Oh, and then when I looked at the topology, I was like, oh, they got a switch in the middle, and they just put everybody in the same network. That's the reason why I'm able to load balance my traffic between these two, and that's what happened there. So you should have a switch there. It's a project at my job configuring VoIP. Oh, you talking about something totally separate here. I thought you was talking about for this lab here. Is it possible to have PoE via patch panel, or do we need to run them directly to a switch? Let me see what you're trying to say here. They don't need to go directly to a switch, no. So you can have the switch, right? I know this is something totally off topic, guys, but we just doing, yeah, for Avaya, I'm pretty sure for Avaya, if it's PoE supported, let's say you got your phone here, right? And you got a patch panel here, right? And then you got the switch there, right? So the switch goes to the patch panel, and then this is providing PoE, right? And then you got it going to the phone, it should deliver PoE. It should still deliver PoE, yes. Just as long as this switch supports PoE, and that phone obviously supports PoE. You just don't want to go too far as the cable run goes, but that's up to the cabling guys. And what else? You could also put like a PoE injector in case this switch does not support PoE. So if you had a PoE injector going from the switch to the patch panel to the phone, you could do that as well. If the switch does not provide PoE. So, good question, but it is a little off topic, but it's all good though, man. So anyways, where were we at? We wanted to configure group number 100, right? So remember, these guys are going to be in a GLBP group, and they are going to be in group number 100. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to go to router 1. We'll start with this guy first, right? We go to the interface that's going to be supported, how would I say? Participating in GLBP, right? So go to global config mode, interface GI00. We are going to say, remember yesterday, HSRP, all the commands started with standby. Well, GLBP, guess what starts with? GLBP. And you put the group number, 100, and then you put the IP address in this case. So you put IP, and then the virtual IP they're going to be using is going to be 192.168.10.254/24, right? So that's what it says here. Enable the group and set the virtual IP address. And that's what we're going to do. We put the keyword IP. So that's how you do it. GLBP, the group number, IP, and then the virtual IP address they're going to be sharing. So 192.168.10.254, right? We don't need to put the subnet mask. You would think it does, but you can make this a secondary IP address. You ain't got to do that because it's kind of a given because that's the interface that you're assigning it to, right? And that's where he knows. And then from here, it should actually put him into the group. So we did the group number, we did the IP addressing. The task also says to set router 1 as the primary gateway. The GLBP priority is 100. Remember, the higher the priority, the more likely it is to be the primary router, right? So remember we said that we are going to have a primary router and then a secondary router, right? In this case, being that it's probably best to do router 1 as the primary router because I have a gigabit interface there, right? So we're going to make him the primary router, and that's what the book says anyway. And he says to make him the primary router and then set the priority to 100. Well, let's do this. And notice I'm kind of going off topic. Well, not off topic, but I'm going everywhere here. But he went into speak mode, then he went to active, right? Then he went into listen mode to see if there's anybody else that's a primary router. He said, nobody in the primary router in this group? All right, well, guess what? I'm going to be the active router. Remember, we said kind of this is similar to HSRP that we did yesterday, right? We're going to have an active router, and in HSRP, we had a standby router. Well, guess what? In GLBP, we have a, I believe it's an active router, and then we have a, is it standby? No, I think it's active. I think it's master, and they use different terms now. I believe it's the master, or is that VRP? Let me verify that before I talk shit here. They use different terms now. Okay, so VRP does that. So yeah, they also use active and standby. So HSRP uses active router and a standby router for primary and secondary. GLBP does as well, active and standby. Now VRRP, which we're going to cover tomorrow, has the master and the backup router. So master and backup, I believe it's backup. But either way, they have a master and a backup, VRP. We'll cover that tomorrow. But we use the same terms, active and standby, right? So he's going to be the active router, and he's going to be the standby router, basically backup, right? So let's go ahead and set the priority. But before we do that, do show GLBP, and we'll see that the priority is, where is he at? Where is he at? Where is he at? Where they at though? Where they at though? Priority is already set to 100. So even though they said go ahead and set the priority to 100, well, guess what? By default, it's set to 100. So we ain't got to worry about that, right? And then he says to make router 2 the secondary gateway, GLBP priority is 100. So let's go ahead and go to router 2, since I think we've already done most of what we needed. No, we didn't. We need to set the timers. So let's take a look at what the timers also say. By default, remember we didn't touch these, right? So this is the default setting. The hello timer is 3 seconds, and the hold timer, or the dead, or sometimes I like to call it the dead timer, when we consider our neighbor dead, or if we haven't heard anything, a failure or anything like that. If we have a failure, then we consider the peer dead after 10 seconds, right? So we say hello every 3 seconds, and we consider the peer dead in 10 seconds. So if this guy, okay, so he's in group 100, right? We're going to add him to group 100 as well. If we don't hear from, we're going to say hello to him every 3 seconds, right? If we don't hear from him after 10 seconds, we're going to consider him dead. And that's what we're going to do, right? Well, this is by default, but the book says they want us to change it from 1 second and 3 seconds. So we'll have a quicker detection of failure here, right? So let's go ahead and do that. So the way you do that is GLBP. And then, what is it? You put the group number, so 100, and then timers. I'll even question mark for y'all real quick. So you do GLBP 100, and you can see the options here. We can set authentication, which we'll have to do as well. The IP address, which we've done already. You can change the load balancing method, which they're not going to ask us to do, but you can do round robin. You can do 70-30 split. You can do a 50-30 split. Change how often you want to load balance and stuff like that. You can name the group. You can preempt. We talked about preemption yesterday. And the priority, which we just did, and timers is what we came to do. Timers, right now, right? So we got to set the timer. What's the first timer we want to set? We want to set we do timers, right? Says what we want to set here. We want to set the hello timer. They said what? Every 1 second. And then we're going to consider our neighbor dead, or hold timer, every 10 seconds is what they said, right? So we put 10 there, 10. Hit enter, and then we do a show GLBP real quick. And we'll see we change the timer to 1 and 10, right? Y'all see that? Oh, we didn't say 10. We meant to do 1 and 3. My bad. Fat Finger Squad in the building. 1 and 3. So let's go back and fix that. This is why we don't run our show commands in the middle of our work, right? Interface GI00, GLBP 100, 100 timers 1 and 3 is what they said. Now we show GLBP, and we see we set it to 1 and 3. All right, perfect. So what else they wanted us to do? We did the timers, and they also want us to set authentication. So let's go ahead and do that. Interface GI00. Again, we'll go to router 2. My bad. I was jumping all over the place. Anybody got any questions or anything like that? Gotcha. That makes sense. Okay, perfect, man. I'm glad that makes sense. So GLBP 100, and they said we wanted to set authentication. So anybody that's going to join this group need to put in this password. That's what we're doing with authentication, right? So they said the password need to be CCNA, all caps. My bad. Authentication, and then we got to put text and then CCNA. See there? I don't know these. Geez, I forgot. I don't know these by heart. So CCNA plus some iOSs, they set the text. They set the authentication differently and stuff like that. It is good to memorize these and stuff like that, because sometimes when you got to configure stuff real fast and you type it in a notepad, you got to know these commands by heart, right? So go to, that was router 1. Now we're going to go to router 2 and do what we needed to do, right? So we did we set him up for GLBP. Now we got to, we set him up for GLBP. Now we got to do this guy right here, right? We'll go to this interface, right? Which is the FA00 in my case, right? Go to config mode, interface FA00, and we said, actually, before we can do that, let's see if we get some basic connectivity here. Let's have router 2 ping router 3 and him ping that guy, right? We need to even test basic connectivity. We need to do that, right? So actually we'll have router 3 ping these guys. Make sure he can get to those guys, right? So let's go to router 3. Can router 3 ping him, and can he ping him, right? So we'll ping 192.168.10.1. Y'all with me so far? Play to the network gods. We're waiting. Don't look like we can. Something's wrong here. This is why we need to test basic connectivity. Did I change any cabling? I did not. Success rate 0.5. I think it's because, let's see here. Let's check our work. Let's check our work, right? Show IP interface brief. 10.1. He's up. And router 3 was supposed to ping 192.168.10.1. Maybe because we did the configuration for GLBP. It could be that, and it has authentication and stuff like that. Let's see if we can ping router 2 at least. Let's see if we can ping router 2. 10.2, right? Basic connectivity here is what we need to do here, and it looks like we got some failures here. All right, so let's see what we get. Let's see what we did here. Maybe there's some cabling I got to do here. I'm glad I did this. See? So now y'all get to see. It's like a 1-to-3 ratio for timers. Yes, exactly. One not necessarily ratio. Is the gateway configured? You're right. Let's check that. Show IP routes. I'm set to 10.3. My local is 1.3. The gateway is not set, but I should still at least get some basic connectivity here. I see what you're saying. Good point. But I should at least get some basic connectivity, man. Router 3 should at least be able to ping router 2. Let me verify the cable in here. I know I didn't change anything. At least I don't think I did. Are they up? Let's do this. Show IP interface brief. He is up. 1.3. FA00. Let me, y'all pause for a second there. Let me just check some basic cable in here. So router 3 is this guy right here. He is plugged up to black cable. This guy, he go to the switch. Yeah, he go to switch. Let me check that one more time, y'all. Is the gateway configured? But yes, I see what you're saying. Who is router 1 again? Let's see. 1. And this is why I like physical hardware, because at least I should be able to get this going here. Okay, so router 1 is connected to that. He is good. And then this should be connected to router. Oh, I see it. Layer 1. Let's see. Let's see. Switch 3. Router 3 does not look like. Boom. Not cabled up. Layer 1. You see? This is the kind of stuff right there. You see, that's the reason why it wasn't up. It was unplugged. I got a cable that the little the little clip it's like loose. So, and I'm glad we checked that. See, basic connectivity, man. I would have sat here and be like, yeah, see, look, GLBP is not, it's not working, right? So now let's see if we can ping router 2, which was 10.2. Should be in here somewhere, right? 10.2. We got no replies. Oh, that's because the switch is still in learning mode. He is doing some spanning tree right now. I'm seeing right now. Pray to the network gods to see if he can ping it. Now, it don't look like it. Come on, buddy. Looks like we got some troubleshooting. We got some bonus troubleshooting today. All right. So that was disconnected for sure. That's router 3. No, that was router 3. Okay, so then let's do this. Let me check the switch real quick. Let me make sure. Yeah, see, he was down, up, and he came back up. What else I needed to do here? Router 3 need to be able to ping these guys. What's going on here? Messing up the stream here. Let's see. Can he at least ping router 1? What's going on here, man? I want to set a default gateway, but I know that we don't even need to do all of that right now. We do not need to do that. Let's triple check our work here. Intermission. Router 1 is this guy right here. And it is a gray cable. GI00. It is connected to port number 1. That is correct. And then, oh, you know what? Hold on. Let me see something real quick. The bottom guy is router 3, which is this guy. 3 is that guy. And this should go to router 1, which is that guy right here. And then that should go to, the switch is not configured properly. Well, I did not do any configuring on the switch. I left everything at default. Good question though. That is rather interesting, but that is rather interesting. Huh. He is connected to the correct cable. I didn't change anything, y'all. Let's take a look at the switch though. That's a good point though. Let's see here. Show VLAN brief. Let's do that. Everything should be in VLAN 1, right? There are ports numbers 1, 2, and 3. So ports 1, those 3 right there are where I have those switches connected to. VLAN 1, their default, and we saw that guy come up. Y'all remember how I used to complain about GNS3 acting all buggy and stuff like that? I hope that's not what's going on here, because I have actual hardware, and thought we was going to be able to knock this out real quick, man. Unbelievable. Let's see. Yeah, I didn't do anything different to the switch here. Not only that, I did a little run before this, man. A little practice run. Let's do this. So he is up. Let's see. Router 2. Take a look at router 2 real quick. Let's finish at what router 2 is doing. He is show IP interface. He should be 10.2, right? Interface brief. He is 10.2. He is up. And can he even ping? He probably can't, but let's see. 192.168.10.3. He can't. Interesting. This is rather interesting. Looks like we got some bonus troubleshooting today, y'all. Let's do this. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna finish configuring. What is all of this too? What is a smart client and is recommended to disable? I don't know what's going on here with all of that. But let's show interface status. Make sure none of our ports are disabled. Right? All of these guys are connected. They're in VLAN 1. What else do we need to check here? There's nothing else on the switch I did. Like I said, I even ran did a little practice run and was able to complete the lab quickly too. The only thing I did different was shut these interfaces down because I like to make good habit of having to remember and having to bring them up. Let me do this. Let me finish router 2 and then we'll go back to layer 1 stuff. So we're gonna go to router 2, finish the HSRP stuff, and then we'll take a look at the layer 1 boring cable and stuff. So we're gonna go to router 2. We're gonna put him in the same GLBP group as that guy, right? And then which is 100. We're gonna give him that virtual IP address. We're gonna set up authentication. We're gonna do all of that good stuff, right? So let's go ahead and do that. I hope router 1 is where I did all that other stuff. Yep, I did. All right, so he good to go. Let's take a look at his GLBP configuration so far, right? He is active. He is using that IP address 10.254. Let's see here. It is set to round robin load balancing. So and that's what I was talking about with load balancing. You can set up different types of load balancing. It's just that this lab does not call for it. That might be more of a CCNP topic, and there is a CCNP version of this book. If you guys are not following, I mean, if this is the first time you guys are following along, this is the lab guide I'm using. 101 Labs Cisco CCNA version 4. You can get a copy from 101labs.net. There's also a link in the description box below. It is an affiliate link. So, but there is also a CCNP book that will probably delve deeper into load balancing and stuff like that. We need to get the hell on with this damn cabling and stuff, right? So let's go to router 2 real quick and do that, right? So we're going to go to this interface, which is GI00, or FA00 in my case, interface FA00. We said GLBP group number 100. The IP address is going to be 192.168. Fat finger squad. 10 dot. That might be my mistake. 10 dot. I hope I put 10 dot. I did. Yeah, 10.2. I'm starting to think I made a fat finger somewhere. We're gonna find that mistake. I guarantee you. Before we finish this stream, we're gonna find that mistake. I'm gonna leave y'all in suspense here. No, I'm not doing this on purpose, y'all. So 10.254, right? That is the virtual IP address, and he should join the group in a second. Boom. He doesn't join it. Why? Because we got band authentication. So we got to put in the password, remember, which was CCNA, and then he should be able to join the group. So GLBP 100 authentication text was caps CCNA. They had us change the timers as well, right? 100 timers, 1 and 3. What else they want us to check? And notice he's going from listening to active. Why is he inactive when we wanted him to be the backup guy? Riddle me this, Batman. Now that I really know why, the reason why. R1 has the authentication CCNA. Yes, that's exactly why, Jason. That's the reason why he didn't join the group. Can router 2 ping router 1? Good question. So you want to know if router 2 can ping router 1. I highly doubt it, but let's see. Can he ping router 1? Ping. Well, maybe. Let's see. 192.168.10.1. Oh, he can. Interesting. That is rather interesting. So router 2 can ping router 1. Something's going on. Something's going on over here. That's the problem. Good point you made. Who was that? Dave? Jason, good point. So router 2 can actually ping router 1, but router 3 can't ping none of these bad boys, right? So it's something with router 3 we got to look at. It's something with router 3. Active because they are not talking with each other. Correct. But they are both active though. Why is that? Right? Are they both active? Let's see. I'm going to go to router 1 real quick and check. Right? I'm going to go to router 1 real quick. Show GLBP again. He is the active router. And we go to router 2, which is this guy right here, right? Show standby. I mean, not standby. GLBP. Standby was yesterday, right? That's the command you use for HSRP, right? Oh, he is in standby. He is in standby. I thought they were both inactive. I thought they were both inactive. So that's my bad. What I meant to say was I thought it was because he was going to be inactive because they both have the same priority. Remember, whoever has the highest priority, they are going to be the active router. But that also depends on preemption because if you come in as a higher priority, but you know your preemption is disabled, it don't matter. Your priority can be set to 255. If you don't have preemption disabled, you can't just take over and become the active router. You have to have preemption enabled first. So they wanted to make router 2, this guy right here, his priority is supposed to be 90, and he's going to be 100. That's how we're going to make him the active router, and we're going to make him the standby router, which is already set that way because we configured him first, and then we configured him second. That's the reason why they were set up already that way. So let's go ahead and change the priority, right? We said router 2, his priority needed to be, I believe they said 90, right? Let me check the book real quick. They said set router 2's priority to be 90. So go to global config mode, interface FA00, GLBP 100. His priority is, hang on for a second. Hang on for just a second. I'm recording. No. so priority 100. No, I'm sorry, 90. Priority 90. And we're already in standby mode, so we ain't got to worry about all that, right? So we're in group 100. So good command you guys want to know, right? Show GLBP. We can also, you know, it's a lot of stuff right here to digest right there. We could just do show GLBP brief. It'll show us some quick information, right? GLBP brief. And y'all see we are the standby router, right? This is the virtual IP address. Who is the active router? 10.1. Who is that? That's this guy right here. So he is the active router, and I am the standby router. So I'm local, right? I'm router 2. They're saying I am the local, I am the standby router. That's what that's saying right there. This right here is giving the MAC addresses for each of these guys, I believe, right? Or is that the virtual MAC? I believe that's the virtual MAC address that they were talking about. That's the virtual MAC address that we were talking about in this book right here, right? Virtual MAC address. So they are going to be using 4. They can use up to 4 different virtual MAC addresses, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, right? That's what we have right here. A virtual forwarder. Let me get into it. We'll look over that stuff later. But anyways, I gave you guys that in the chat, didn't I? This is the white paper you guys want to look over. Oops, my bad. Pull that up again. That's going to give you more in-depth information on configuring GLBP. Copy. Live stream. Close this. Paste. No, wait, that's not it. That's not it, y'all. That is not it. Yes, it is. No, it ain't. Yes, it is. PDF. Community. Yes, that was it. That was it. My bad, y'all. That is the PDF I wanted to share with you guys. So where were we? So yeah, I think this is the virtual MAC address, if I'm not mistaken. If anybody want to fact check me on that one. What was the question? Active because they're not tackling. Okay, so we've done what we did there. What else they wanted us to do? We changed the timers. We put the authentication key. We made him the primary router, or in this case, active router, and we made him standby, right? Task 4 was to configure router 3 to use. So router 3, this guy right here, he's going to use this virtual IP address as his gateway. Well, guess what? We couldn't even talk to these guys right here because the gateway ain't even set up, right? So let's go ahead and set that up real quick. So we're going to go to router 3. This is the final task right here, right? And then after that, we have to check the cabling because I'm pretty sure there's something in there we got to fix, right? So configure terminal. We're setting our default gateway as IP route and then quad 0, right? That's our default gateway. And I don't think that's the problem because I think I should still be able to ping those guys because we're all in the same network. We should still be able to ping those without a default gateway. Even though that's what you pointed out. Who was it that pointed that out? Jason pointed it out. That is the default gateway configured. Well, guess what? We're going to set the default gateway right now. We're going to say our default gateway is this right here. So any traffic, we got some switch or some users that sits behind this router right here. Their default gateway is 10.3, but router 3 is going to use that as his as a virtual IP. So again, that virtual IP is going to put these 2 routers and give it an illusion as if it's one whole router, right? So we send in our traffic to the virtual IP address, which is 192.168.10.254, right? We do a show IP route, and we'll see the default gateway has been not set, so that might be the problem. Interesting. Boy, y'all, yeah, these switches are really trying to mess with me today. So y'all see, I set the default gateway, and it did not set it. So there's got to be a cabling issue. See, I did this right here, IP route. And we'll even show it real quick, right? Show IP, show run real quick. Let's do a show run. Let's verify that it's in there, right? So yes, I set that up, but let's see. He is 1.3, FA00. Is FA00 up? Let's verify that. Show IP interface brief. I know you want me to check that switch, man, but I didn't touch that switch, man. So that's why I'm thinking maybe I do got to look in there, but let's see. FA01 is admin down. But that's not where I have it plugged up to, though. That was not the issue. We have it plugged up to 0, router 3, and he set the. That is the problem. I see the problem. Do y'all see the problem yet? Do y'all see the problem? Fat Finger Squad in the building. I see the problem. I'm gonna go back to the router and tell you. We know that the problem lies on router. What? I want you guys to put a guess. Everybody put in the chat and tell me which device has the problem. Is it router 1, router 2, switch 1, or router 3? Who has the misconfiguration? Put it in the chat. After that, we're going to wrap this up. So we should be done by 8:55. Everybody put in the chat room. Somebody, anybody. We're going to wrap this up. So task 5 was to check the status on GLBP on router 1 and router 2 by running the following commands, which is show GLBP and show GLBP brief. And then that was pretty much it. We already ran those commands already, so we pretty much done. I'll set that book up until y'all let me know. T Jizzle thinks the problem is in switch 1. He's still blaming GNS3. No, man, GNS3. I should blame GNS3 too, right? She get the girl bruh for this one. T Jizzle thinks the problem lies on switch 1. He thinks the problem lies on switch 1. I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at switch 1 and let's see if you all right, man. While I check that, everybody else let me know what the problem is. Pete thinks it's a layer 8 user error. I like that one. I like that one, Pete. So he says it's switch 1. So let's see. Show what you want me to run here. We already did show interface status, right? So we already know. I already cabled them up for them to be where they needed to be, right? So switch 1 goes to FA01. Router 1 goes to FA01 right there, right? Router 2 goes to FA02, which is this one right here, right? I plugged them up to where they needed to be, right? So router 3 goes to FA103, right? Those are all obviously connected. They're all in the same VLAN. What else you want me to run? Show VLAN brief, right? We said that they're all in VLAN 1, right? Which is 1, 2, and 3 right there. He said he think the problem lies on the switch. What else you want me to check on here? Pete said layer 8. You know what? I'm gonna say you right about that one, Pete. It's a layer 8 problem. Let's go to router 1 real quick. Anybody else want to take a guess? Dave thinks it's in router 1. Let's check router 1 real quick. Right? So we put what did we do here? Let's check our work. Let's show IP interface brief. Let's see. Gig 00, right? We connected it to gig 00, which is that right there. We said the IP address needed to be 192.168.10.1/24, right? 10.1, right? It is up. It's cabled up, and I checked the cabling already. Let's check the subnet mask real quick, right? Show IP interface GI00, like that. Subnet mask is /24, so that's correct. That's what I'll do. I'm gonna do show IP interface and then the interface. What else we needed to check? Show. And we did what? I don't remember who made that. We found it. That one. Pete, you right. Pete got it right. .1 and .10. Where's the problem at? Where was that problem though? Pete got it right. You get the girl, bruh. I'll go ahead and give you the regular bruh. But that is the problem, Pete. So it's not on router 1. Router 2. Let's see. What was that? Yeah, he said 10.1. You said found it. 1 and .10. He's 10.1, right? And then router 2, we'll go check the router 2 real quick. Let me stop leaving you on suspense, right? Show IP interface brief. Danielle's like, NetworkBruh. Give me the hard eyes over there. What is it, Danielle? You tell me what the problem is. Show IP interface brief on this guy. This is router 2. He is 10.2. He is up. Is he /24? Let's see if the subnet mask is correct, right? Show IP interface FA00. 10.2. That's correct. It is up, obviously. I continued with, do y'all want to check the gateway load balancing? So we'll do a brief. right? We already did that already, right? We said that is the address. He is the active router. We checked the switch, router 3. A few of us got it. Yes, router 3 is the problem. So we'll go to router 3 and leave it right here. Where is the problem? Who said router 3? Who else said it? You said a few of us got it. I don't know if y'all put it in the chat room or y'all go into the Discord server, but if you're not joining the Discord server, if I make any changes or anything like that, y'all go ahead and join this Discord server, and I'll let y'all know. But typically we stream Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But yes, that should be the problem right there. It is up, but guess what? We got the Fat Finger Squad in the building who put the wrong IP address. And this is why we need to show our work, right? So I said the address is supposed to be 192.168.10.3. So now let's see. We already know that router 2 can ping router 1, right? And vice versa, right? Let's go ahead and do that anyway, right? Router 1, can he ping 192.168.10.2? And yes, so that worked going. So we got bidirectional connectivity there, right? So now let's see if router 3 can ping that guy and ping that guy, which we already know we can't. So we need to fix that IP address first of all. So go to global config mode. I'm glad I turned off the domain lookup there. Interface FA00, and his IP address is supposed to be IP address is 192.168.10.3. Subnet mask of /24, and we already know shut that bad boy. So now let's go ahead and see if we can ping those two guys right there. So we're gonna have him ping that guy, and we're gonna have him ping that guy, and then after that we're gonna see if we can ping the virtual IP address, right? So let's go ahead and ping 192.168.10.1. Pray to the network guys, and drop, and we got 80%. So that was the problem, man. Fat Finger Squad in the building. I swear, a Fat Finger Terror Squad. I swear to God, man. I'm gonna put that on a T-shirt, y'all. The reason why a lot of these, most of these streams, and I was talking about how we haven't made a Fat Finger Squad in a long time, right? Well, guess what? I gave you guys a couple extra minutes of troubleshooting and more detective work. So this was a bonus episode today. I think we're going to be approaching episode number 50 this week, right? Yeah, today's 48. Tomorrow is 49. So yeah, episode number 50 for the LiveLabs is going to be on Wednesday. So let's go ahead and see if we can ping router 2, which is 10.2. I said then 10.12. It's hanging. Pray to the network gods, and we got a success. So we got 4. Ping it one more time and we'll get 5 right there, right? Because it usually drops that first arc. And now let's see if we can actually ping our default gateway, which is now that guy right there. And let's even show our route, show IP route. And remember last time, it didn't show our gateway of last resort. That's why I thought it was a layer 1 issue. So if you don't have an interface configured in that network, then you can't set it as your default gateway. That's why it didn't show up that first time. Remember when we had the wrong IP address right here, right? And I checked the show IP route after setting the default gateway, and it still was not set. It wasn't until I changed the physical interface to 10.3, and I was looking right at it too. I was like, yeah, that's correct, that's correct. No, I was missing the 0. So it wasn't until we made that change, and then it showed that our default gateway, or last resort, is actually 10.254, which is the virtual IP address. So let's go ahead and ping that and call it a night. I think I'm gonna go get some drinks, get some food, because I'm hungry as fuck. Excuse my language. 254, and we got a reply. Pray to the network guys. I'm playing it again, and we got a reply. All right, we good to go, y'all. So tomorrow's lab is configuring VRRP, which is virtual router redundancy protocol. Say that 5 times in a row. That is another FHRP, which is first hop redundancy protocol, right? It's we'll cover a little bit more about that tomorrow, but it's pretty similar. They just use different terminology, and it is an open standard. So we'll cover that tomorrow. You guys want to follow along next time, get you a copy of this book, man. 101 Labs Cisco CCNA version 4. You need a copy of this from 101labs.net. Experts agree that we retain only 10% of what we read. So you can sit here and read all these books that they that you got from Amazon and stuff like that, that's collecting dust on your in your bookshelf. But it's not until you actually do this stuff hands-on. And they say we obtain or remember at least 90% of what we do. So that's why I love this book, man. So yeah, get you a copy of this, man. There's a link in the description box below if you want to get it. And I think that's pretty much it, man. For now, Join that Discord server. We usually stream Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we finish right on time. And it's usually an hour that we wrap this up, man. I was going to try to wrap this up in about a half hour. But it's always something, man. That's why we call ourselves the Fat Finger Squad, man. For now, comment, like, subscribe to the network.